Welcome to the August 12, 2024 advance report for McGowan Group clients and networthradio.com listeners. Title of today's program, What Was That? Look at this. July 31st, everything's happy, all the tech stocks going way up, and bam! Soon as August began, whole world of hurt just dished out a double-digit decline for the NASDAQ 100 and, of course, lots of the tech stocks. And there was a lot going on behind the scenes, but I want to talk about some fancy hedge fund managers and a bunch of leverage that came out of this system really fast, and why. Well, it was just 2 days, basically, Friday and Monday, right? And boom, you saw a decline in the Dow, which we'll get to. Dow Jones Industrial Average fell from almost a new high, 41,200, all the way down to 38,500, 2,700 Dow points just disappears like that. Wow. What happened at the end of July? That's the key question. Did it change? I'm going to point out right here that if you go on a nice long vacation for the first part of the year, you come back, the Dow's up 5%, tech stocks are up 9%, you'd say, well, hey, it's a pretty good year so far. But it was so exciting Monday. There were all kinds of things going on the internet. So Katrina comes out and she says, oh my God. And she shows me a video of World War III and Creature from Jekyll Island and some sort of Federal Reserve analysis says everything's going to be bad. And then she calls later in the day and she said, well, I feel a little better. I bought some NVIDIA. I'm like, whoa, who was that pessimist I had at breakfast, right? All right, here we go. Japanese yen. So to my understanding from the articles we've read, at the end of the year, at the end of 2023, bunch of hedge fund managers went over and added to their borrowing in Japanese yen. You could borrow money really cheap, and the yen goes from 140 to the dollar to 161. Yen goes down about 12%. So you only have to pay back 88 cents on the dollar. You got a low interest rate, and you can go buy more NVIDIA and lever up, all right? So apparently that was happening. And boom, Bank of Japan didn't like the yen going down that much, and so they raised their interest rate when? Right about July 31st, and boom, the yen goes from 162 down to as low as 141. Boom. That means that all those hedge fund managers had their leverage wrecked with about a 12% reversal in what they have to pay back. So they have to de-lever and sell some stuff, or they're going to get a big fat margin call and the bank's going to sell it for them. All right, so that explains part of that pressure. Here, this is NVIDIA. And so, anyway, everybody wanted NVIDIA. It goes to 140, and then, wow, went all the way back to 90. That's a pretty big correction, well, especially if you're on margin. But anyway, so it got too popular. And we have a phrase here. This is why you subscribe. And by the way, I'm Spencer McGowan, founder of McGowan Group Wealth Management, your financial weatherman. And one reason you subscribe is we call out things that are too much in the sun. If everybody's talking about it, the party could be over, right? Doesn't necessarily mean it's bad company, just means it might have gotten a little too pricey and everybody who wants to buy it has already bought it, right? That's part of the effect here. Well, this is the S&P 500. So S&P 500 year to date, Dow's 5%, tech stocks are 9%. They fell from 20% down to just a 9% gain. And the S&P is about an 11% gain after that setback. In other words, it's not Armageddon, even though you could find Armageddon on the internet predictions. What's actually happening in the S&P 500? 500 biggest blue chips, earnings growth. Midweek, earnings growth over last year was about 9%. Then a wave of reports come in. 90% of the companies have reported, and it's dropped to just 3.8%. I will say that's anemic, and if it stays like that, then don't expect huge gains from here. You want to get big old dividends. And there are still some bargains in the oil and gas space, which we've talked about for years. In this case, what happens from here? These are the earnings forecasts and what percentage they're supposed to grow. Now, if these predictions are correct, as we go into next year, they go to double-digit potential gains, earnings year over year. Well, that's why we monitor this, and that's why you want to subscribe. All right. Whoa, what's this? This is a disaster, and in my opinion. All right? So what happened last year? Everybody's talking about, oh, there's going to be a Bitcoin exchange traded fund, make it easy to buy. Everybody's going to pile in. There's billions of dollars that want to be in Bitcoin. So sure enough, it runs from 39,000 to 73,000 at the launch of the exchange traded funds. Okay, that was the first day that exchange traded funds were available. Hits a peak. That is the most embarrassing fizzle that I've ever seen. The other one is Ethereum, and Ethereum had its own ETF launch. It was like nobody really cared if you look at about the amount of money that came in it. There's about $300 billion in Ethereum. But if you look at these, that's a real disaster, because I don't know of anything else that's exciting enough to get people, the crypto propeller heads excited from this point forward. We'll wait and see what it is, but that's an embarrassing fizzle for predictions that Bitcoin was going to go to 150,000. Kathy Wood said 1.5 million. Wow. All right, I'm Spencer McGowan. Go to networthradio.com. You can contact us there. The other videos are there too. And of course, our YouTube channel. We've got some interesting additions. There's a new YouTube on Dallas, the Texas Stock Exchange, and how Dallas is becoming the capital of capital. Welcome to Y'all Street. Thank you for tuning in today to Net Worth Media. We also have Apple Podcast. Simply type in Net Worth Radio and boom, it'll hit your phone right then. If you also go to networthradio.com on a browser, you're going to be able to meet the team. You can see our performance track record, the model portfolios that go with today's broadcast. Also at networthradio.com, the Longer Play podcast is available there as well. We're grateful that you've tuned in. Remember, when we talk about a security, it doesn't make it a recommendation for your portfolio until we actually complete a written plan for you by Zoom or in office or simply a conference call. So you reach us at networthradio.com if you want to get that arranged. Market fluctuations and how to handle them. We build high cash flow portfolios, and past performance doesn't guarantee future results, so you do have to be ready for challenging markets. We can build more cash flow during challenging markets than we can when everybody's happy and everything's up, which is when we tend to raise tactical safety. Those allocation strategies are here at networthradio.com. Thank you for tuning in.